I told everyone that, listen, someday I'm going to own my own thing. But it got to the point where people were saying, okay, we're sick of hearing that. Like, either do it or stop talking about it.
And I think that's part of it is a lot of people, especially salespeople, they like to overpromise, underdeliver. What I've heard you do just from your renewal rate and just what you were saying at the beginning was it's all about saying what you're going to do and then doing it.
Are you being intentional about how you're going after the best in class in that category? Because that's who really should be in our magazine. We have the best in class magazine. You should have the best builder. You should have the best auto dealer.
It sounds like really good communication, openness at the market level, and then working together as a team to focus on what you said, which is really the outcome of what's best for the client.
Hi, I'm Steven Schongert, founder and CEO of City Lifestyle. Welcome to Share the Lifestyle podcast. Today, sat down with Ron Kolb, VP of Sales, two of our Minnesota publishers, John Lee and Dave Robertson. Talked about some of the struggles they went through, how they overcame them, cross-selling, and a lot of other things. Well, thank you guys for being here. We got John and Dave. And John, I want to hear from you first. So you started or took over a magazine during what time?
Right before COVID. We were the last training class right before COVID. And right after we started, 6 weeks later, everything shut down. So again, great timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what was that like? Trying to take over a publication? For one, taking over a publication, but then taking over a publication during COVID.
Well, interesting takeover because we were 99 of 99. I know we have 250 now, but we were definitively the last by a lot. But beyond that, everything had shut down. So, hey, you just hit the ground running. So at that point, I hired an editor who's now my publication director. Very fortunate that Dave Scheller not only was the right choice then, but has remained with me. So first thing, great team. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Second was just pivoting because everything was virtual for about the first 12 months plus. And then it was just hitting the ground running. I mean, we were just living the brand at that point. And 3 of my competitors went under in that first 18 months. We doubled in size and were named Small Business of the Year at the end of 21.
Oh, wow.
So 18 months later, to be fair, I mean, it took time. We became profitable in 7 or 8 months because we were way below that. And then at that point, we just ran. And hey, it was a great challenge. It wasn't. We found out things in the first couple months that, opened our eyes, and then we just ran. We believed in ourselves, and honestly, it was a lot of fun.
So, what was the mindset during that time? Because everybody was trying to survive almost, and you obviously were thriving. You went. What was it again? In 18 months, it was what?
18 months, we doubled in size.
Yeah.
To be fair, we weren't that big to begin with. Let's be real. Let's not give you too much credit here. But, and at that point, it was connecting with all of our current clients, firing some of those clients. To be fair, anybody watching this podcast, we're not recommending firing clients. But, there are folks that fit, folks that weren't paying, folks that were under bogus contracts. The previous publisher did me no favors. Look, that happens. Every takeover has its stuff. But we had zero brand equity in our market when I came in. Okay, things happen. But it was reestablishing. It was living the brand. It was us saying to everyone that would listen, judge us by what we do because it's going to be everything that we promise up front. We are different than what you experienced before. Give us a shot. If you don't like us, don't renew. Or if you don't like us, don't sign now. But if you believe in what we're saying, you're going to be a foundational partner, and you're going to be with us for life. You experience us for a full year, you're never going to want to leave.
Yeah.
And you're going to be treated differently than everybody else that signs with us later on. And we're going to be a best-in-class franchise. We get that we're not now. We acknowledge that. I didn't tell the people that, but we were the worst. We were the worst by a lot.
You're Indiana football. You're Indiana. Come on.
I like that. Hey, we just took it as a big-time challenge. At that point, we were all in. Franchise was purchased. I'd hired a team. I was paying a team, out of my own pocket. No different than anybody else buying or taking over. We had that belief and that mindset, and we went after the biggest and the best. So we said, hey, we sold a vision at that point. It was, this is what we're going to be, not what we're trying to be, not what we're thinking about. No, we're gonna be this in 2 years. We want you to be foundational. Like, we went to the biggest realtor in our area and we said, hey, I just walked into his office and I said, hey, I own Eden Prairie Lifestyle. And he's like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
What is going on? I'm like, hey, I explained what, it's this 20-page magazine that at that point sucked. And I'm like, no, this is what it's going to be. We are going to be best in class. We are going to grow, and you're going to be a foundational partner. And we're going to put you in. And by the way, you're going to give us street cred. And we're going to sign 10 more like you in the next, couple months. And I'm going to remember that you signed with me. And we're going to grow together. And you're going to benefit from this because I'm always going to give you preferred treatment. We're always going to treat you like gold. Everything you need, you get. Everything your team needs, you call me directly. I don't care how big my team was nothing at that point. But hey, the more we grow, you have us. And to this day, they just signed their third 36-month contract with us. Wow. And 2 of their realtors within their brokerage have signed individually because of the contract, the success they had earlier. I'm just saying, we're selling vision at that point, and I'm convincing them it's not vaporware. And fortunate for us, our hard work has, I would like to think, largely paid off. They've seen the growth. They've seen the TLC. They've seen the commitment. They know my team. They trust my team. And that feels good. I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm not saying everything we've done is perfect. But you got to sell something at the beginning. So that's how we were growing our team. That's how I got people to join our team. Look, this is what it's going to be, and you're gonna benefit from this. You're gonna be paid more. You're gonna get more responsibility. My goal is to have you full time. That my PD, as you know, is full time now, and we're going to build people around you, and you're going to have, this is a career for you. We're going to be best in class. If you want to be a part of that, then let's just be all in together. Yeah, and that's kind of our mindset.
John sold himself, by the way. That's what did it.
Yeah, and let me ask. I've heard you talk about this period before. Yeah. One of the things that you really bought into, obviously, experiencing all of those circumstances, things can go one of a few ways, right? It's really easy to get overwhelmed by them and pull yourself off the track. But when I've heard you talk about that first year or 2 years, you really grabbed onto some basic fundamentals and made sure those happened every week. What did that look like?
Well, and we have had this conversation, and it really, you want to keep it simple at that point, because otherwise it can get overwhelming and you can convince yourself that this is untenable. So on our side, it was, we can control our activity. And hey, our first conversation we had is, hey, I just set up a schedule where I said, I'm not going to fail. I told my wife that too, because she had a vested interest in this succeeding as well. Absolutely. Like, we will not fail. Just give me, I told everybody that will listen, give me a year. And this will be very different. And then it was setting up meetings. At that point, I challenged myself 20 meetings a week for 2 years. I said, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to set up 20 meetings a week for 2 years, and we're going to see where we're at. And my goal at that point was to be profitable in 2 years. We were fortunate. We were profitable in 9 months, and then we launched from there, which was great. But the meeting count, which we preach, of course, but was something that I did because that activity is something that I could control. And it was all virtual. I mean, we didn't even have Zoom meetings to the point we do now. I mean, come on. But I think all of our great publishers that are listening to this pivoted at that point too. I mean, especially if they were in states like Minnesota where everything was shut down. We just became proficient there. And now it's a part of our arsenal. And now we just let clients, hey, you want to meet virtual, you want to meet in person? I don't care. We're just going to have those meetings. And Ron, we've talked about this. I'm in the scholar area in terms of personality. I tracked everything. Data's everything. So I tracked all the meetings. I tracked follow-up meetings, percentage of close. I just wanted to make sure there was enough there, because I was not going to look back in 2 years and say I did not do everything I could to make this succeed. I mean, I'd been telling everybody that would listen for the last 5 years before I bought this. I came from an international biz dev background, Fortune 50 companies. I told everyone that listened, someday I'm going to own my own thing. Well, it got to the point where people were saying, okay, we're sick of hearing that. Like, either do it or stop talking about it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Fair point. Even my wife was saying that to me. So, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to succeed. Hey, everybody that does this has challenges. I mean, okay, I wasn't looking for sympathy. I just was looking for a chance. And I love the community. I love the brand. City Lifestyle, I mean, I did my homework. I mean, I knew that this company would have my back if they saw my effort. That's what I believed. I mean, from the people I'd met up front, from Zach and others. And that has proven to be true. But the flip side is you get out of this what you put into it. And we weren't going to fail. And I hired a team that had that same DNA. When I say team, it was one person. It was my editor at the time. But we've grown substantially, you know.
Yeah.
I would argue we have, 12 or 15 people that are active contributors on a contract basis, to be fair. And, with that mindset, I never worried about it. I could rest my head because my pipeline was full. My pipeline was exactly where I needed it. I was like, hey, I can't, it was kind of like Melissa. She always talks about, I can't tell you when, but I can tell you they're going to. And that was our mindset. And then it was refining that pipeline over time, going after the right verticals, the right decision makers, having enough of those in a given week, have enough follow-up meetings in a given week. And then when things opened up, which was really cool, I could add to that with walk-ins. I could add to that because now we had a year and a half under our belt, and those whales that some of which signed, they were providing referrals to me. So then that's momentum. Momentum's a thing. Dave, you and I have talked about this. Momentum's a thing, and lack of activity is a thing. I also coach my team to do that too. Like, don't take quarter Q4 off because your Q1's going to suck.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just be real.
Absolutely.
You want to keep that going. And Dave, you know this as well as anyone. We kind of live by that. So it's a long-winded way of saying, hey, we committed to the things we could control, and meetings were absolutely there. Like if I don't have enough activity on my calendar to do what I need to do to become profitable and then grow the way we want, that's on me. Like, I don't care what the economy is. I don't care what people are saying. I don't care what people believe. I can control that. And what I tell people that I coach is, look, you're never going to face, this isn't about me and this isn't simple sympathy for me, but you're never going to face a situation, arguably, that was worse than the one I walked into. Like, and if I, or someone like me, okay, take me out of it. If you can excel with that, there's no situation you really should be afraid of. I really don't care. You can talk about economy or tariffs or this or that politics. I don't care. Like, and I bring that up all the time. People that I've coached are probably sick of hearing it. But the reality is, don't worry about the uncontrollables and just get into the things that you can and the things that drive and the things that matter.
So good.
Take emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Just have belief.
All right, so Dave, you started in an easy time then.
Yeah. To John's point earlier, I think if anybody goes through launching a magazine during COVID, they should have like a badge of honor or something like that. And it does work when I talk to my teams because, to do that, especially somebody like me, because I'm on the back 40 of my career at this point. So the technology was not something that I was going to embrace, but yet that's how I had to sell. Everything was Google Meets. And I'm somebody that if I meet people, I think I do a better job. I pick up nuance. I pick up a lot of cues from them. And so the selling, I think, becomes easier. But when you're trying to do it over technology, I think it's harder. It has its efficiencies, but it also has its drawbacks. And so to launch during that period, to John's point earlier, I think, if I can do that, everything else is a lot easier.
It's everything easier.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was the month that you launched?
So I bought into the whole thing. I think I went to my training class first week of June of 2020, so in the middle of COVID. Wow. We did not come to Kansas City. We did it all virtual. So I was 3 days on a Zoom call. So that was fun. But that was my training. And then I launched, ultimately, I think you guys gave us a little more grace back then, but I had it done by October. And then had that issue out. I think the first issue was December of 2020. And so then we just kind of took off from there. And John was in the throes of getting his magazine right, but it started ahead of me. Alex Patty was in the market already with Minneapolis. And the three of us were kind of, working it out a little bit. We started meeting on a fairly regular basis. I think they were waiting for me to launch. And as soon as I launched, all of a sudden they kind of came alongside.
You were part of the club.
Yeah, I joined. I made the club as soon as I launched, and then we started, kind of getting together, talking a little bit. We started being a little strategic about certain businesses that were in the Twin Cities that we didn't think necessarily should be owned by anybody. So that started building a little bit of a trust and a relationship, and I think we had a couple of deals work out between us pretty early on, if I remember right. And we all just kind of worked together, and somebody always was the leader of it. They're the one that booked it for all of us, and we had a couple of cross-selling things, and it just kind of naturally progressed from there, and it just kind of continued. And now, of course, we have 7 magazines in the market, and we were a little picky about who came into the market with us, and we've been really intentional about how we play ball. When anybody who come in, how do we work together?
So how do you do that when somebody comes in? Is there a process that you go through?
Can I
Do you
take
wait
it
till they
today?
make it?
Well, there's a hazing process.
Yeah.
primarily.
I'm sure, right?
There's a hazing process.
You take them out to the pond.
Yeah,
when it's
well,
ice
it's mission
and-
night.
yeah.
There's a lot of things we go through, but no, go ahead if you want to take it through.
Well, Dave hit it on the head. We're very intentional.
Yeah.
When people come into our market, we sit them down. We've done it 3 times in the last year. Someone comes in, and by the way, the hires in our market have been really good. They've been go-getters to a man and woman. But we sit down as a team, and we say, here are the things we're going to do. We are going to sell into each other's markets intentionally. We're going to pay commission back and forth. We're not going to negotiate it. It's going to happen. And if there's ever a gray area, we're going to talk it through, because there are a million different nuances and situations, and no manual that corporate could give us is going to cover every one.
No.
So we talk, and it's not us being perfect. It's us talking through everything. And even if Dave and I don't necessarily agree on the situation, because there's stuff that happens, right? And we know each other pretty well. What the client needs wins. Period.
100%.
That is always the tiebreaker, and that has served us well. And I also think, and I cut you off, so hang on. I'll turn over the stage. I think one of the things we also do well as a team is we have a longer term mindset. Like, we'll do what's right for the client. We'll do what's right for the fellow publisher, because I know in the future it's going to come around to my benefit or our benefit. Take me out of it. It could be Alex. It could be Matt, it could be Tim, it could be Amy, but we grow as a whole this way, and anybody listening to this is probably going to roll their eyes, but it's true. We've sold as a team 6 or 7 deals in the last 6 weeks that have benefited.
Well, and sometimes we just sell it
Majority.
right in. Like, I've sold some of my clients into John, or different divisions of my client into John's magazine. It's not going into 2 divisions, went right into John's magazine, not my magazine. So it was sold into his, and I know Amy's done that for us. Alex has done that for me, because it does, everything rises together. And when we have had gray areas, the key for that is communication. There have been times, I mean, I had like an appointment setter once set a meeting with somebody that had an office in my market, but they closed it down and they had relocated to Eden Prairie. And I'm on the drive, and looking at my maps, going, where am I going? I go, oh, I'm in Eden Prairie. I called John up. John, I'm making an appointment in Eden Prairie. How do you want to handle this? Do you want to join me? And he said, I can't right now. Why don't you go talk about both of us?
Yeah.
And I said, rather than canceling the meeting.
Yeah.
And he trusts me to go do that, and then see, does it work for, and then we talked Eden Prairie, we talked Lake Minnetonka. I think in that particular situation, they didn't come along. But I probably didn't do a very good job. But we kind of go to bat for each other. And we trust each other to do that for each other. And John just sold one into 3 of our magazines that's got a lot of potential to be very large, probably a whale, I think it could be, and he's working on that on our behalf. He's been the leader on, we kind of handpick certain businesses, and it's moved around a little bit, but he was able to secure Summit Orthopedic into his magazine. And then he's gone to bat on behalf of Amy Sousa in one of the other magazines to get them in her magazine. And now I had an availability happen in mine, so we just were talking strategy the other day about how he's going to approach that to get him into my magazine. So he's leading the charge on that client on behalf of all of us. And all of us have situations like that.
100%. And a key aspect of the situation that Dave just talked through, Summit Orthopedics, where I'm going to get you in. I just got Amy in, and I'm in it for 36 months with their lead decision maker. The reason I'm speaking for their VP of marketing, but the reason they're working with us is we make it super streamlined, and they have one point of contact for any market they want to go into. If I had told her that hey, you're going to have to talk to every publisher and negotiate a contract with every market, she would have turned to me and said, we're not interested in working with you because we want to grow with you. No different than Kowalski's is doing the same thing through me. It could have been through, look, there are a million accounts, but if you get a reputation for not playing well together and not having a willingness to meet the needs of whatever the client, whatever those needs are,
They're going to feel that, right?
Yeah, they're going to feel that, and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
And they're going to go with one of our competitors. So you're foregoing business voluntarily. And look, it's something that I think we've bought into. It's benefited all of us overall. And when there are gray areas, which there are every day, like it seems like someday.
Well, we're close together.
Yeah.
I mean, we respect our own personal distribution zip codes, but there's overlapping areas or areas adjacent, so we have to kind of watch that. But I think we do a pretty good job of looking ahead and arc and making sure that. And so if you see, John had called on them 2 years ago, but there's not much there, the first thing I do is call John and say, talk to me about this client. I got an inquiry on our social media. They DM'd us back and said they want to meet and talk about it, and they're interested in Lake Minnetonka. And then I would just say, what's the status of it with you? And a lot of times he's done this, and I've done this with him. Hey, I haven't done anything with that for 2 years. Why don't you just take a shot at it?
Yeah.
And it's like, because maybe you'll get it, and you might get it for all of us.
Have you found that where some of you, like Dave, maybe you're better at one industry or one type of person, and John, you're better at another? Because like Matt, when me and Matt were going, he'd bring me in, and I was better at them all, of course. There was just some, like his personality, his is more like a patient personality, and I'm more quicker. And just quick, and I got to get this done and all that, and I got to get to the point. And so if that's a car dealer, remodeler, all that, I'm going to go in because I could relate to that kind of person. But if it's maybe a designer or some other type of people, jeweler, he was always good with, even though they're kind of direct. It would just like, I would send him in and say, hey, could you do this one? And then I'd go into a different one. Do you guys do that? Or it's just
not to that level. I'll one example that just happened. This is a real good example. We just signed a restaurant into 3 of our magazines. One of the newer publishers, Tim Duran, drove it. The initial inquiry came out of the general manager of that restaurant in his market. But they're very nice restaurants, and they're in John's market and they're in mine. And he reached out to John and I both and was like, this one's, I think it was a little complex. And he said, I'd really love to have one of you guys or both of you guys come with me. 3 of us showing up would have been too much. But John had a conflict, and I said, yeah, I can do it. And so then Tim and I went and tag teamed it. And then we sold it into all 3 of our magazines. Now, Tim's going to be the lead on it because he originated it. John and I will both gladly pay him commission, even though I tag teamed with him on the sale. That's fine. I don't care. I don't care. We're all getting revenue from it. It's a good client relationship. I actually personally like to eat there. Yeah. So I love that idea. And in this particular case, Tim didn't do a trade out, which I was very, very, very happy about.
That's a novelty.
Full rate card. That's what we love to do.
It sounds like really good communication, openness at the market level, right? And then working together as a team to focus on what you said, which is really the outcome of what's best for the client.
100%.
Very well said. And just to add on to what both of you just said, while Tim and Dave were having these meetings, we were collaborating between meetings because it took a little bit of time on refining the proposal. Like we were working, think about that. We're working together on a proposal where we're going to be paying 15% on a full page, and we're fine with that. Because this is coming in, Tim will.
Because you and I don't have to manage it.
Exactly.
That's the big plus.
That's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Totally.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
That's great.
But hey, we love that, and hey, what comes around goes around. I mean, my goal is no different than Dave's, and I would argue it's the same for the other folks in our region. We want to have multiple accounts sold into our fellow publishers' areas because we know those are coming back our way. Look, we feel a personal responsibility that way. And frankly, we don't want to be paying out net commission.
Well, what I really like is I just sold 2 into John's, and the first thing he did is send me a text saying, I owe you a beer. And then I sold the second one. He said, I owe you 2 beers. at conference, right? Something like that. Yeah. So I'm expecting those beers.
Yes.
You'll get those.
Yeah.
All right. So what are 3 things we don't know about you, John?
Okay, 3 things you don't know about me. One would be I've had jobs in 3 different states, Big Ten states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. In sports, high school through college career, I've had quite a few injuries. Broken my nose 4 times, separated my shoulder twice.
Wow.
Tore my ACL, my MCL, and all my cartilage in my left knee.
Wow.
And the third thing would be I juggle, which comes in handy as a publisher because you never know what's going to come across your desk in any given day. Like you might be asked to do a podcast in KC,
Yeah.
and you're ready.
Yeah.
That's
What's your
mindset.
favorite thing to juggle?
Well, usually it'd be tennis balls.
Yeah.
I've never done bowling balls, basketballs, soccer balls. I can do 3. At one time I could do 5. Can't do 5
Wow.
anymore.
Yeah.
But I can do 3, which
Sounds like we have some conference entertainment
I know.
on deck for sure.
How's that budget going?
There's
Do you need free
no
entertainment?
Yeah,
question.
We do need some more free entertainment, actually. So that'd be great.
That's good.
fantastic.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
What are you? 3 things that we don't know about you.
Oh, geez. I'll start off with a fun one. So I was in a play in college called Equus, and the part I played was I was a horse's ass. So that's
And
one
that's a real
very-
thing?
It is a real thing, yes, because there's a lot of horses in that. Somebody had to be the back end.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It was. I was there just for the parties after the
did they
plays.
put you in that, or did you volunteer for it?
It wasn't what I tried out for.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Let's put it that way. Wasn't what I
And you
tried
made
out
the
for.
horses.
I didn't
But
see that role
hey,
as a prime
and
role.
if you look back on my career, it's poetic and somewhat appropriate.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's one. The other thing that most people don't know about me, and I've hesitated to bring it up ever in circles around here, just because of I didn't really honestly want to ever do it again or get roped into it. But I spent most of my career as an event producer.
Okay.
And
You're hired.
large. That's what I was afraid of.
We need more event people.
Large scale productions. Like I worked for a very large company out in New York the first 10 years. I was a producer.
Wow.
And that company did big stuff. So Jack Morton Worldwide was they did Super Bowl halftime shows.
Wow.
Olympic opening closing ceremonies.
That's
We did
serious.
the 150th anniversary of the Prince of Saudi Arabia's family's rule. So there's been a lot of really
Oh my gosh.
big things.
Where was that?
And
Saudi
then
Arabia.
Those are big.
yeah, it was over there.
Wow.
All male crew, by the way. So that's something, I guess. But then I had my own little production company with some partners, and that's what I did prior to this. And so the thing coming
Was
into
that the most interesting thing out of the events that you did? Was the Prince?
No, the most interesting one I ever did was when I was kind of a junior producer. I got my first gig where I was totally responsible for was the Player of the Year awards at the Super Bowl. Now is done by ESPN, but back then it was a private event. Kind of, people paid for tables, and it was kind of a big deal. And we would do we used the Hall of Fame players to introduce the Player of the Year at that position, right? And then we'd show the video highlights and do all that big show. And we had an MC. One year was Jay Leno. The next year it was Dana Carvey. And they did a little entertainment and then MC'd it. It was kind of a fun program. But I produced that for a couple years. But the first one I did, the producer plans it and executes it.
Yeah.
But there's a role called the show director who wears the headset, calls all the cues, and tells everybody what to do. And my show director is down in New Orleans. My show director decided it was really an appropriate time to get a kidney stone during rehearsal. And it was going on that night. And I didn't have time to fly in another person that's skilled at that area to do the show directing. And everybody in my crew's looking around and going, well, he's going to be in the hospital passing a kidney stone. What are we going to do? And they all looked at me and said, well, you know the show better than anybody. Have you ever called a show? And I was like, no. Well, guess what? And so I had to wear the headset, call all the cues, and I was like, just drenched by the time it was over. But it went over fine.
Yeah.
And then after that, they started shipping me around to do that job.
Wow.
Which was kind of an interesting thing. But I wanted to get back to producing, so that's why I started my own company. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Cool.
so that's a second thing. And the third thing, I guess, is that I have 5 kids and a big age span between them. And my oldest and his wife who live in Charleston have given us 3 grandchildren already. So
That's
wow.
amazing.
That's amazing.
What's
Yeah,
the
6, 3,
age
and
span?
1.
Age span of the kids?
Of my kids? 35 to 17.
Wow.
So
I'm on the other end. I've got 5 kids, 11 to 8 months.
yeah, very close. Very close.
Yeah. Give me some advice. All
It just
girls.
gives me a little more time to acquire the money to pay for college and weddings. So that's the good news. So
Yeah.
I got a few of those to go. So that's it.
Yeah. Cool. Ron, you got some questions?
What would you say has been the most important thing that you've focused on early in your career? We'll start there. When
Early
you
in
first
this
start,
career?
Yep, in this career, when you started there. And then as you've grown the business and become a veteran publisher and you're now working with people, what does that look like now? And I'll start with you.
For me, and it actually was something I figured out pretty early. Tiffany, when she was coaching, she was like, all of a sudden I started showing up in the ranks and files somehow. It's like, where did this guy come from? But I was kind of the tortoise. She called me the tortoise in the Tortoise and the Hare story, because I basically was just solid and steady.
That's
Steady growth, steady growth, steady growth, every month, steady growth. And that's kind of how I grew. And all of a sudden you look back a year after, really getting things rolling, and it was like, oh, how did he go from here to here? How did he get to gold? That kind of thing. Was that and the whole secret of the whole thing, and I kind of preach it to the people I'm coaching, is long-term deals. I only present in my meetings 36-month deals. If somebody said, can I go shorter than that, we have a conversation about it. And I let them know, what the value of it is and all those kinds of things, and how we can use all the tools in the toolbox and things like that. But I think fundamentally that is the best deal, and that's what you should talk about. So I think in the last, you guys did some metric in a national call that recently, and you were talking about, how many 36-month contracts in your last 10. I think I had 8 or 7 out of 10 or something like that of the last 10 deals were all
It's big.
36, and that's where I think the success lies.
Yeah.
Slow and steady is the beautiful thing about our business, I think, that ultimately it's really simple. John talked about holding and controlling the metrics, and ultimately we know very well that if a franchisee today makes a decision to schedule 3 new appointments a day and creates that muscle, that ultimately, just like you, they'll have that success. So that's big. I appreciate
And John
you.
and I talk about it all the time about, there's people that we'll share notes about certain people we're coaching and other people in our market that might have had some challenges and things like that. And it's always the same conversation. It's, got to get him to stop doing short-term deals. Got to get him to start thinking long-term. Got to think long-term and strategically about their business. Because he and I are both very strategic about our business.
Yeah.
And there is one of the things I say to my team now is, we have the benefit now that we're both coaching people that are now a little more established, have had some success, and now they're ready to kind of go to that next plateau or that next level. But that adds complexity, because you have to start talking about, how do you staff, how do you support that business, how do you maximize what you're best at. John has a really good situation with his division of labor and how he's done it, but he's done it a little differently than I'm doing it. But you have to figure out what that is. And so when I talk to my team, I'm always talking about, you have a mature business now. What are the decisions you're going to make strategically about that business? It is the numbers. You'd have to do that. That's to me, that's the meat and potatoes of the whole thing, what you were articulating there. But the other side of it too is being strategic about who you're pursuing. Do you have a vertical you don't have? All of us have blind spots or areas where we don't have a category or even a client. Are you being intentional about how you're going after the best in class in that category? Because that's who really should be in our magazine. We have the best in class magazine. You should have the best builder. You should have the best auto dealer.
Yeah,
you should
that's
have
great.
the best, and you should start with number 1 through 5 or 1 through 10, and you go have meetings with each one of them intentionally until you land the one that you want.
That's great. That's great. And what about with your teams?
Well, I'm kind of trying to tell the teams to kind of follow this sustainable business model. That's the primary thing. Not to sweat the details. A lot of them, I think, get focused on things that are not something they can control. it's something they have to work through.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that's the issue. I think often I'm sure you do, John, you get calls that really aren't things that you should be solving for them. So I try to kind of reflect back and get them to be able to solve their own problems and maybe give them a little guidance on that, because I don't necessarily want to get the call back next month for the same problem.
That's great. That's great. How about you?
Can you repeat the question? Because Dave has a tendency to wander. I don't know what question Dave just answered, but
Gosh.
But did it sound good? That's the most important thing. Thank you. Well, at least
it sounded awesome.
Well, good. That's all I care about.
I think the question was, I think the question was, early in your career, what were the base fundamentals that you really made sure were in place? And we talked about appointments, but is there anything else there? And then as you're working with your teams today, how do you take those lessons and, hopefully shine a light on that for them, right? With people coming up in the business.
I kind of answered that.
Actually, I owe you a partial apology. You did well.
Okay, thank you, John.
Early on in my career, it was all about foundation. To riff on Dave's point, longer term deals. And again, back to enough meetings, but transitioning those to profitable longer term deals.
That's great.
Because you need runway, especially when you're starting out. Like you just can't be renewing every 3, 6, 9 months. So at that point it was getting profitable, and then it was having runway 6, 9, 12 months out.
That's
where
great.
If I'm silver, hey, when am I going to be gold? I'm a gold guy, So back to those things. And then just continuing to build on that, and then doing everything I can to perhaps have an acceptable renewal rate, to kind of keep doing that, so I'm not filling holes all the time. And then it's blossomed into, now we just want to be known as, and this is important, it's to be known as and cementing our reputation and our brand as best in class in the Southwest Metro, period. I don't care who we're in front of. Whether it's the city, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's whales, whether it's smaller clients, I want them knowing of us and thinking of us in the right way, because it really sets the stage for a call to request a meeting or them coming to us. I mean, brand is everything. In terms of folks that we coach, I always try to keep it simple. And Dave, I know you do a lot of this too. It's just, hey, you can make it as complex as you want, and you can come up with an excuse for everything. Look, the first conversation I have is, what are your goals? And when do you want to achieve these? And if you're willing to do these things, you're going to get there.
Nice.
We've talked about this. We've had this conversation. I'm not saying I came up with it, but I'm saying it's true. I mean, it's why we've had the growth that we have had, and it's why they will as well.
That's great.
And the flip side is, hey, the expectation is going to be accountability.
That's great.
But I never set the goal for anyone. But we've been fortunate. The folks on my team, almost all of them have graduated within the time frame allotted to us by City Lifestyle.
That's great.
So, hey, proud of that.
And now too, with the mature magazines, I think that the one thing John said about building our brand, I think that it can't be lost. I get a lot of our team, or my publishers, telling me things about their competition and things like that. And I had a client say to me just last week that the reason that they're adding all these other work with us and buying into John's magazine and everything else was because we're elevated. She sees us as elevated. And that is a great market position to be in, is to be seen in the marketplace as elevated. So when my team starts saying things, I just can't do it, this is happening, or this people are doing it, they're discounting against me, and I can't compete on price, everything. You don't need to compete on price.
Right.
We're elevated.
I love that. And you mentioned something in there that was a little nugget that I want to pull out, and I might know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask it anyways. Being in the print business, obviously we deal with the elephant in the room around where print is going, right? And we don't see those same complexities. You mentioned renewals. What does your renewal rate look like, John?
My renewal rate on average, it was 84% last year, and on average the last 3 years it's been about 76, 77. I don't know what it is this year. I know it's good.
It's amazing.
And I think it's important, and we've also invested a lot in that. I mean, my team pays attention to it. I bonus them all on us staying green on our scorecard. When we're fortunate, those times when we win an award as a organization, they all benefit from it. So they feel ownership there. They now ask me, hey, are we in the running for anything? I'm like, I honestly don't. David doesn't tell me these things.
It's Matt's the one that keeps everything.
But they know But they know, because the folks that I've hired, hey, they're money motivated in addition to doing altruistic things in the community. So they're like, hey, they know that could be an additional check for them. So
can I say something here about him and his renewal? So John has done me the favor because he is the renewal king. So when I'm having team meetings, we talked one time, a subject matter was renewal. I asked John to be my guest speaker in my team meeting because I figured, well, why should I talk about renewals when I got next door the guy that's the number one guy at renewals? And so he did this great presentation to my team, and they still talk about it, about how intentional he is and how process oriented he is. It's not just luck. This guy works it. And the way he does it, and I've adopted a lot of those techniques that John taught me, which is, he's the king of the review meeting, the quarterly review with every one of his clients. He's always going to know where he stands with every one of his clients because he's not scared to go in and hear what they have to say.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that taught me, and I told everybody, why do you want to worry about whether they're going to renew or not? Why don't you want to know? Because at least if you get those signals ahead of time, you can adjust to it or correct it to try to win the day anyway, or in advance who you're going to have to replace down the line.
Yep.
Right? So it's just a smart business decision, but for me it's great because it creates opportunity, creates referrals, and it's been good for me to improve my renewal rate just because I'm following his process that he adopted, which is this very systematic review process with his clients.
Yeah, and you have a high renewal rate, but you're selling long-term deals. There may be some sort of a correlation between long-term deals being able to deliver results over an extended period of time and people making a decision to stay, right? You've probably seen that play out, I would imagine.
100%. Long-term deals give us that opportunity to thrill those clients for 3 years versus one.
That's amazing.
They're obviously, and a lot of those long-term clients are also multi-magazine deals. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And that further incents them to stay with us because now we have 3 or 4 or 5 publishers all satisfying that client to the nth degree. And now you layer on top of that our new digital social media marketing.
Yep.
Okay, now we can provide further proof and validation that, hey, we are as comprehensive as you need and want us to be, and we have the numbers to prove it.
That's
and
great.
a lot of these, if we're doing our job right, don't need those numbers, but we're going to show them to them. And that's a great mindset. Hey, it's still not 100%. So, there are people leaving, but less than there would be normally because I believe we do more things right than wrong.
That's
we
great.
can always be better.
I think there's very few businesses in the advertising space that have, 80% renewal rates. So that's a testament to quality of product, incredible customer service. I'm not sure the word you just used, but it was something filled with passion around the way you treat your customers, and duration, so they have an opportunity to actually see this work over time. So that's great.
And I think that's part of it is a lot of people, especially salespeople, they like to overpromise, underdeliver. You hear that a lot. And so what I've heard you do just from your renewal rate and just what you were saying at the beginning was it's all about saying what you're going to do and then doing it.
Yeah.
And making sure that you follow through. I think that's what sometimes is difficulty because you want to go and give everything away and say all this stuff you're going to do just so you can get this deal and then you can't perform.
Totally.
Well, you're seeing exactly right. And it's kind of fun because when you invited me to sit in on your meeting, and I think if that helped you, you owe me a beer.
Well, you owe me 2, so we'll take one away. So now you owe me just one.
So you got one at the airport.
Okay.
So, but I like to think renewal starts with that, the very first meeting with onboarding. So we sit down with these clients and we say, hey, this is what you signed up for, and you know what, you're paying this, but you're getting this, and this is what we promised. We're going to get you these features and an ad this size, some premium digital listing here, but your responsibilities are these things. And let's be clear that you've agreed to watch the messaging you use in your ads and update those accordingly. You're going to participate in the feature opportunities that we give you, and you're, you know, a lot of these things quarterly, maybe quarterly, maybe every 4 months, we're sitting down with these clients and we're saying, hey, do you remember what we said to you 4 months ago? Well, here's, you know, we're tracking these things, and we want to take credit for the things we've done that we promised we'd do, and these are the things that are upcoming. And the question we always ask is, hey, are we doing everything we need to do for renewal to be a no-brainer when the time comes? And if not, tell me now. Like, hey, we're here to make sure that you're thrilled throughout the entire experience.
That's
and if
great.
you're not, tell me now, because I can help you.
Yeah.
I own this franchise. Look,
So
we're behind that. And those things help. And you also said something that's super key. Never once have we promised results. The way I frame it, and my 2 cents is, hey, we never promise results, but I can tell you we get results almost 80% of the time over the course of the last 3 years. And I know that because these clients have renewed. So we're going to reach your target clients, and we're going to do it on a consistent basis, and we're going to do it through print and digital media, social media marketing.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you when they're going to buy, but when they buy, they're going to think of you. So just stick with us. And it's yet another reason to go with a 36-month contract.
That's
I mean,
great.
come on. They're going to think of you. It's just a matter of time. So give us that time and allow us to be expert level on that stuff. And also, we're going after verticals, and we're not discounting. We're not the only ones that do that.
No.
But the cool thing there is those are verticals that are more demanding but never talk price.
No,
Like
they don't.
none of these. Like Summit Orthopedics never talks
No.
price. I mean, they're paying a lot every month in all the magazines they're in now, and they're going to be even more once they're in yours. But they never talk price. But they love to know that we're working super hard on their behalf.
Well, and they love to know their owner is working with them too, not just a sales rep.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't want to miss here, because I think we focus so much on the training and everything on sales activity, meetings every day. It's all that front end stuff to get to the goal, right? But what John touched on, and I think is like super important, and I think when you're a mature publisher, you figure this out, and that is managing expectations at the beginning.
Yeah, it's huge.
Is key.
Everything.
And because everybody comes in with certain objectives or things in mind, and we got to crystallize that and say we all agree together that this is what success looks like. And what I found is the publishers that struggle with cancellations and opt-outs and people that I'm coaching, and what do I do about this? And they're always reacting. And I always ask them, what was your process when you started working with this client? And none of them have that kind of conversation. And we're not talking onboarding, how to access ARC and submit your ad. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about managing the relationship up front and setting a tone. And the best publishers, John does it, I try to do it. Everybody that I know that is a good publisher, they set expectations at the beginning.
So obviously you guys are very successful. I see it, and what I'm looking at is the confidence. It's confidence in the product. You stick to a system and you go through that process in that system. What is one thing that you would tell a new publisher, like how you guys work together and maybe mindset? What would you say? And maybe like 30, 60 seconds.
No pressure. No pressure. Quick delivery.
I guess right up front, as an individual publisher, dive in. Do not be hesitant to learn, to grow, be a sponge, and use all the tools at your disposal. That's print, that's digital, that's social media marketing. Have meetings, learn, grow. Dive in, get over it. Do not hold yourself back. From a team perspective, embrace cross-selling in a big way. I mean, we're big proponents of it because it works. I mean, there's no Minnesota nice here, which I hate, by the way.
I know. I hate that.
But that's another podcast.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah.
But hey, embrace it. Embrace it for no other. If you don't, even if you hate it, the idea of it, it's going to make you more money in terms of sales to clients. It's going to make you commission. You're going to have additional ads sold into your magazine, and you broaden your brand and strengthen your brand in your marketplace. And this is all data-driven stuff. This isn't whether people trust me or not. That's why we do it. And hey, we're a for-profit business, right? It's work.
100%. I guess the way I'd answer that question, just to add to what John is dead on what he just said. The other thing I would say that I've talked to newer publishers and newer publishers in our market, not necessarily on my team, is they put so much energy into launching that there's this tendency to go,
Yeah, it's
when they get there. And I've encouraged all of them. I said, keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Because if you go hard and keep that discipline that you had to launch, and you keep that discipline at the beginning for, it doesn't take long, 6 months. If you do 6 months, you don't really go, but what happens is you see your business in a place where you start to go, okay, now I'm going to start getting a little strategic about my business. I'm going to keep the numbers going and keep my flow going. I'm going to start thinking about building my business. Building your business is a different discipline than just sell.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you start,
So
it
much.
just, and then what happens, and you said it earlier, Stephen, that's when you start getting that confidence. And you walk in and people are like, oh, I want to work with this person. And you're walking in with this elevated product. You're talking about their business needs and their objectives and really digging into the investigation. The training was great. And when you're starting out, you got to follow it, because you have to be on top of it. But once you get to a mature status, you can still touch on it, but it becomes much more of a conversation. It's much more of a consultative approach. You're trying to help them, and the whole emphasis becomes, I'm supporting your business. And you really determine at the end of that conversation whether it's a fit or not, and a lot of times it is.
Yeah, it
That's
probably
great.
starts off as I'm selling them at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it switches to I'm helping them.
Right.
I'm the owner,
Yep.
and I feel it. So that's so
100%.
good.
Yeah.
So what's the go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the powerful thing you said around just focusing on launch, I think is really important, because ultimately, if we just think about launch as a 90-day process, which we see so many people do, and if we just double that process, right, and we go from launch to 30K over a 6-month period of time, what the business looks like is pretty amazing. And so ultimately, really thinking at least about that full cycle versus just launch gives you a frame of reference that I think you can run on. So anyways, that was great.
Yeah, launch is not the destination.
Yep.
That's just now it
The
starts.
beginning.
It's the starting line. It's the starting line. And the gun goes,
And it's such a difficult process going through launch. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this was tough, but then it's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I got a product now.
Yeah.
This is fun. Now I'm an owner.
Yep.
Now we can get this
Yep,
going.
100%.
Crank this out. Okay, so what's one thing you wish people didn't think Minnesotans are? You
Minnesota
mentioned
nice.
it. What is
Minnesota
it?
nice. It's fake nice. No,
Yeah.
and I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I'm a transplant. No, I'm more New York in that way. Just tell
Yeah.
me like it is.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear from my clients.
I love
Hey,
it.
just tell me what's up. Are we doing our job or are we not? Are you happy or are you not? Because then I can help. But I don't need fake anything.
Yeah. What about one thing that people don't know about Minnesota or people from Minnesota?
oh, I got it. We actually talk normal. because everybody's perception. And I walked into a meeting one time, a bunch of people that didn't know me. And I started out, I had to give a speech. And I started out and I said, oh, I'm so happy to be here. Don't you know? I've been thinking about coming here and talking to all you folks for a long time. And I just started talking. All these people were just like, this is right after Fargo came out. And all these people were in the audience. And they're just like, looking at me going, like that. And then I just switched it and said, I just thought you'd get your stereotypes out of the way and stuff. But we don't all talk like that, I guess is my point.
You don't all talk like that. You don't all have meetings on ice ponds.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
And
No.
most people think we have 11 months of winter in Minnesota too.
It's only 10. No, but we like to perpetuate that view of it, though, because then the riffraff
You
don't
keep
come.
them out. Keep them out, baby.
Keep
I
them
love
out.
it.
Yeah.
Do you take snowmobiles to school when you were kids?
So it's funny I used to I had a house out on about 10 acres on a lake at one point, and it was my first two boys were kind of in their teenage years, and we had all the toys. We had ATVs, snowmobiles, things like that, and yes, they did take that to school a few times.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. This was incredible. I think people
So
can
good.
really gain so much from this, but you guys, it's just amazing what your mindset is and what you've accomplished, and especially going through COVID. I mean, if you've gone through that, you can really go through anything. It's really really amazing. So
That's what I
thank
thought.
you guys.
Appreciate
Great
your
work.
time.
Thanks for the time,
It
guys.
was a great gauntlet to go through, right? Didn't you enjoy it? I enjoyed it.
I love it.
Be a story we can enjoy someday.
Yes,
There you go.
exactly.
There you go.
Someday.
There you go.
Absolutely. All right.
Sweet.
With more than 250 magazines nationwide, City Lifestyle is the leading city-based magazine network in the country. If you're looking for a chance to build your own business while having a team and framework you can rely on, City Lifestyle offers an opportunity worth exploring.